You know, we're running around doing this or that, going to this or that meeting, running to a soccer practice. And I'm not saying that those things aren't important. But we are so busy doing all sorts of things that we neglect the essential. And what happens as a result is what we see in Luke chapter 7, where Jesus is talking about the parable of the sower. And in the parable of the sower, thorns begin to grow up around the plants, and they choke the life right out of them. The garden is full of weeds and things that shouldn't be there. And yet, how many marriages are portrayed in the movies and the magazines as just that? Marriage is a way to build your economic base. It's a way to enjoy all of these acquisitive things that we have. The quest for the material, the quest for the pleasure, and the escape from worry. And what does Jesus tell us? He said, that's what worry is. You know, we're worried about the things that we have, the things that we don't have, the things that we're chasing after. And let me be clear about this when I'm talking about busyness. It even pertains to the church. It even pertains to the church. Because the good things, if they're not the best things, will squeeze out those best things. We can find ourselves being a tremendous success at being busy in all sorts of ancillary things, and a terrible and a tragic failure when it comes to the things that we are most accountable for. Number 4. This is a simple one. Don't make the mistake of taking each other for granted. 1 Peter 3:7 says, husbands, in the same way be considerate as you live with your wives. Treat them with respect. Men, I'm going to talk to you specifically for a moment, because I've recently come on a situation that disturbs me. Some men, after a period of time, start to take their wives for granted. They begin to denigrate their wives because the wives have chosen. They've chosen to make that ultimate sacrifice in the calling of motherhood. They've chosen not to be a career woman. They've chosen not to try and play the role of supermom or superwoman, where they get everything done before 6 a.m. in the morning so that then they can don a business suit, do a 9-to-5, and impress the business world to bring home that extra paycheck to pay for the plasma TV or the Harley that's sitting in the garage. They've turned their backs deliberately on all of that in order to be the mother, to be the comforter, to be the wife that we so much need, and the support to the family unit. And you hear men saying this out loud. You know what? My wife is just a housewife. And somehow then they find it more attractive at 11 o'clock, the gal down the hall wearing the navy blue suit and the high heels, than the mother of their children that they just left in their home. And they begin to take their wives for granted. I know of one situation where a husband said that he was unhappy with his wife because she seemed content just to be a mother. Just to be a mother. Well, you know, it makes me want to lovingly take that guy and just grab him by the throat and shake him. Hey, I said lovingly. But you know what? Life is short. Life is short, and this man needs to understand that if he has been blessed, so blessed, to have a woman that has made the sacrifice to be those things to him and to his children, you know what? He should be down on his knees every day thanking the Lord for that woman. You know, there are way too many people out there not reading their Bibles enough and reading Cosmopolitan magazine too much. And if you allow that godless drivel into your mind and to filter through your brain, you're going to inevitably spit out the world's views on these types of things. You will not have sufficient biblical knowledge, biblical awareness to declare spurious what is spurious. Big word of the day, spurious, means bogus or false, untrue. And that's what it is. It is a big lie. Number 5, don't dig up past failures, old failures, or past disappointments. You know, it is tragic to see how many times, especially when men and women, husband and wives, get into arguments, what an immense capacity they have for remembering the past hurts. The same man that can't remember where he put his keys can remember in excruciating detail what happened 7 years ago. Philippians 3:13 and 14 gives us some guidance here. But one thing I do, forgetting what is behind and straining to what is ahead, I press on towards the goal to win the prize for which God has called me heavenward in Christ Jesus. You know, the devil's greatest strategy is to try and bring us down, to pull us down. And once down there, try to keep us down there. Don't assist him in bringing your spouse down by replaying what should have been forgiven, if not forgotten. Point number 6. Don't compare your spouse unfavorably with others on the basis of looks or abilities or anything else. You know, Solomon is really great when it comes to these issues. And I'll give you a little warning here. Okay, Solomon, the stuff that he wrote was really good. You don't have to follow all that he did, okay, because he sort of fell away, but he had a lot of good writings. So what does he say? Proverbs 5:15 through 19 says, "Drink water from your own cistern, running water from your own well. Should your springs overflow in the streets, your streams of water in public squares? Let them be yours alone, never to be shared with strangers." Now, this is a clear call to marital purity and the resistance of adultery. May your fountain be blessed, and may you rejoice in the wife of your youth. Now, notice he says, in the wife of your youth, not in the wife that looks like a youth. Do you get the understanding? You're starting to get the understanding here that this is much more a matter of will than one of emotion? That he is making a choice here? You're right. What Solomon is saying is that this is a decisive activity of the mind. A preparedness to say, this is my focus, this is my commitment, this is all that is mine, and everything else is nothing. Men, how are we going to put this into practice? Do you really think that we can sit there on the plane and thumb through People magazine and read about the exploits of the rich and the famous and the cute and the stupid